Hello, and welcome to the second session of the intro series. In the previous session, we covered some basics, and the session took about 45 minutes. This session is going to be slightly shorter, perhaps 30 minutes or so. At least I'll aim to keep it at that length. And so the first thing we're going to do is really going to use everything we learned in the previous session, and that's how we're going to start today, and then introduce the new things you'll be learning today. Please make sure that you have your mat, the blocks, the strap, and today you'll need to have a wall nearby, just for an exercise we'll be doing. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Please come to stand right here on your mat. You can stand at the very top of your mat, and separate your feet in our hip distance apart. Soften your knees again so they're not locked all the way back to soften. Place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and close your eyes, please. Become aware of your breath. Just notice the natural ebb and flow. Become aware of your feet on the ground, the sensation of the soles of your feet resting on your mat, and the support that you get from the earth beneath you, from the ground, from the floor. You get rooted into the present moment. Feeling your feet on the ground, weight of your body resting on the floor, your breath moving through your body. You begin to transition from anything you were doing prior to being here. It's a moment to get centered and anchored in your awareness of the here and now and your body. Keeping your eyes closed. Tone the muscles at the back of your throat, mouth closed. We'll do a few rounds of Ujjayi Pranayama together. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Create sound with the muscles at the back of your throat. And exhale with your mouth closed, creating the same sound. Repeat a couple more times. Inhale. And exhale. Continue. Hear and feel your breath. A few more rounds of breath. And slowly begin to open your eyes. Release your hands down by the sides of your body. I'm going to turn around to see you. We're going to start again like we did the other day. Just a few movements. Just move your body and feel. Breathe. Move in any way that you want. You can move, like replicate the same movements I'm doing, but if you feel like doing something else, whatever it is, you can do that. It's just a moment to really get your body moving. And this is not generally how a yoga class starts. We'll start with the centering and then straight into yoga poses. I just like to really kind of create a little bit of movement because we're going to be doing a lot of static, very specific motions, and we're going to get into a lot of technicalities. So before we even do that, I find it really helpful to just sort of like create a little bit of free movement. Breathe. Very well. Now come to standing at the top of your mat. We're going to do mountain pose, Tadasana. Remember, this is a variation with your feet inner hip distance apart. Look at your feet. Make sure your 10 toes are pointing straight forward, so they're not turned out to the sides in any way, shape, or form. Straight forward. Soften your knees and check that your feet are inner hip distance apart. So again, the hip bone's right here. If you draw a straight line down, it lands at the center of your ankle. So if I do this, the feet are too wide apart. It's not going to land at the center of my ankle, so I know I have to bring my feet a little closer together. Right there. Arms by the sides of your body, palms facing forward. Soften your knees. Take a deep breath in through your nose, on the muscles at the back of your throat, Ujjayi. And exhale fully. Spread your toes. You may look at them if that helps you. And lift them off the ground. Anchor the four corners of your feet down into the earth. So the base of the big toe, inner heel, base of the pinky, and outer heel are rooted on the ground. As you spread your toes, you may lift them off the ground and spread them. And lower them to the ground. Distribute the weight evenly among the four corners of your feet. Toes, heels, inner and outer edges, evenly heavy. And again, continue to breathe consciously. And inhale. And exhale, gently squeeze an imaginary block in between your legs. And move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs. Draw your navel to the spine, the front ribs towards the back ribs. We did this on the ground last time. And keeping that, inhale, reach your arms up overhead. This is what we call Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead, look up. Navel to the spine, front ribs back. Exhale, release your arms down by the sides of your body. Just breathe, few movement with breath. Inhale, reach up, look up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, arms back down by the sides of your body. Palms facing up, Tadasana. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead, look up. Exhale, arms back down by the sides of your body. Palms facing forward, navel in, front ribs back. Very good. Soften your legs, shake your legs. We're going to continue, and I'm going to bring my cheat sheet right here. Going to continue by, very good, coming to the ground for a supine mountain pose, supine Tadasana. We did it last time. We're going to engage in a little bit of core work before we do other things. So as you lay on your back, hug your legs together. Imagine you had a zipper all the way from the big toes. They're zipping the inner edges of your feet and all the way up through the inner legs. From the feet all the way up to the top of your inner thighs, right there. Palms facing the sky. Toes pointing straight up. You're hugging the imaginary block in between your legs. That's called hugging the midline with your legs. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to draw your navel into the spine. Very good. Fronts of the thighs move back. Keep the navel in as you inhale. Exhale, lift your head off the ground. Navel into the spine. Look at your feet, right? The fronts of the thighs are moving into the backs of your thighs. And naturally, because of the shape that you're creating with your body, lifting your head, your front ribs are drawing in towards one another, the fronts of the tips of the ribs, and they're also moving towards the back ribs, drawing in and moving back. Keep that as you lower your head back down. Continue to squeeze your legs in and move your navel to the spine. And gently release your feet. It's a lot of work. Very good. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Hug the midline with your legs. Point your toes straight up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, navel to the spine. Take a deep inhale, keeping all those actions. Exhale, lift your head off the floor. Look at your toes. Continue to draw the navel to the spine and hug your legs in. Front ribs move to the back ribs. Maintaining that, lower your head back down to the earth and keep all the actions together. Legs are hugging in, navel to the spine, front ribs to the back ribs, and gently release. Ooh. Okay, last time. Sit your legs together, hug the midline, point your toes up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, navel to the spine. Fronts of the thighs back, keep breathing. Exhale, head and shoulders off the floor. Navel in, sip your legs. Front ribs move into the back ribs, maintaining that, lower your head back down. So avoid letting your front ribs popping up to the sky, really keeping the core engagement. It's like as if you're putting a tight corset on. The navel is in, so the lower abdomen is engaged, the upper abdomen is engaged as you draw and knit the front ribs in and move them towards the back ribs. The tight corset. Right? And release. It's a lot of work. Shake your legs once more. Bend your knees. You may move your legs from side to side. I'm gonna do figure 4, which we did last time. Cross the right leg, right foot over the left thigh, knee. Spread your toes. Keep your hands on the ground. Deepen your breath. And as you squeeze the imaginary block in between your thighs, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs. That increases the space between your lower back and the floor. Draw your navel into the spine. Without using your hands, move the right knee away from your face. Very good. Deepen your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Once more, so on the muscles at the back of your throat. Inhale, Ujjayi Pranayama. Exhale, Ujjayi Pranayama. Release. Right foot down and switch sides. Left foot up. Top of the left thigh, knee area. Spread your toes. As you gently draw your legs towards one another or hug the midline. Move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs. Draw your navel into the spine. Keeping your hands off the ground, gently move the left knee away from your face. Navel in, inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths, Ujjayi. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Release the left foot down. Deepen your breath. Very good. Move your feet, your legs from side to side. And then reach for your strap. So if you don't have it like really near you, my block, just get up and look for it. And you're going to use either the strap, the towel, whatever it is you're using, the tie. Keep your feet on the ground. Very good. Move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. And you're sort of sticking your booty out to create that space and curvature in your low back and bring the head of the femur bones inside the hip sockets. Right there. You're going to keep your left foot on the ground and place the strap on the ball of the right foot. So lift it off the ground, ball of the right foot. So the base of the toes, right there. Okay. The bottom foot is on the ground, so the bottom knee is bent. And if this probably you're using is long enough, keep your elbows on the ground. If it's not long enough and you have to keep your elbows on the floor, that's okay. Just creates a little tension in the neck and shoulders that I want to avoid. So if it's long enough, keep your elbows down. Spread your toes, bottom foot and top foot. Hear your breath. Deepen your breath. Now imagine you have that block in between your inner legs and you gently hug the block in. And move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. So think about sticking your booty out. And one thing to avoid here is to have the knee all the way over there. So your leg is straight, but the knee it's over there. It's like an angle. You're not really going to stretch any muscle fibers in the back of your leg, which is what we're going for with this pose, okay? So if that is the case for you, you may not be feeling a whole lot in the back of your leg. Really bend your knee and bring the knee in towards you. Then again, you want that knee to be in a straight line to that inner hip bone. Remember the hip bone we've been talking about. So you want the knee and the hip bone in a line. You don't want the knee over the hip bone, so the knee's not touching your belly. And you don't want it away from, like, not in a straight line to the hip bone, because you're not going to really get to the muscles right there that you want to stretch. So straight line. And for some of us, that means keeping the knee bent, and that is okay. Okay? Fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Very good. With your hands, you pull the strap down towards you. With your foot, you push up into the strap. And right there, you should be feeling something. Keep sticking your booty out. Try not to flatten the low back on the ground. You don't want your low back totally flat on the ground, okay? You want some sort of like an arch there, even if it's hard to create. So you keep sticking your booty out, yeah? Front of the thighs into the backs of the thighs is the booty out. Deepen your breath. Very good. And you can keep the bottom foot exactly where it is, or you may straighten the leg all the way forward and down, as if you were in that supine mountain pose, supine Tadasana. So the bottom foot, the toes are pointing up to the sky, not turned out to the side, and that heel is rooted on the earth. So imagine if I was walking around trying to lift the bottom foot off the floor. You should not let me lift it off the ground. You have to keep it rooted and grounded, and then move the top of the left thigh into the back of the thigh towards the ground. And that's going to increase the sensation of the stretch. Navel into the spine. And you can keep the top knee bent as long as you just really want it to be in line with the hip. Very good. And this pose is Supta Padangustasana. It has 3 variations. We're only doing the first variation today. Leg up. Ujjayi. Just one more breath. And slowly bend both knees. Release the top foot down. Pause. Breathe and notice what you feel. Well, you feel where you identify something feeling different in your body. Keeping the right foot down on the ground, lift the left foot off the floor. Place the strap on the ball of your foot and straighten your leg. Again, remember, you don't have to have the leg totally straight. And this is part of learning to modify according to your needs. Yes, if you look at a poster, a yoga photo of this pose, or a teacher teaching this class, the legs are straight. But you have to really learn how to do straight legs with the right alignment for your spine, the right actions for you to really open up the muscles that you need to be able to lengthen and to have open, so that you can keep the natural curves of the spine as you create shapes. That's what we're going for, and that's why it is better for the health of your spine and your body to do modified versions of the poses as you start and you learn, and as you go, that will change, and eventually with lots of practice, you'll be perhaps, maybe, one day, depends on everybody's different bodies and muscles, be able to do the pose the way it looks like on a poster or very close to it. But that's not the aim. The focus is to keep your spine healthy, right? So spread your toes, deepen your breath, and as you gently hug your legs in, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs. Remember to keep the knee in line with the hip bone, not over there, right? And continue to stick your booty out as much as you can so that you can keep the head of the femur bones inside the hip socket and the natural curves in your low back and in your spine. That's what's most important. With your hands, you pull the strap down towards you. With the foot, you push up into the strap. Navel draws into the spine, engaging your core. And you can either stay right here, you're feeling like, okay, this is enough. You may be shaking, and that's totally normal, okay? Then straighten the bottom leg, point the toes up to the sky, the bottom toes. And as you breathe, navel to the spine, move the top of the right thigh down into the ground. Very good. Top of the bottom thigh into the back of the thigh towards the ground. Hear your breath, navel to the spine. Ujjayi Pranayama. Few rounds of that. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just one more. Inhale. Exhale. Very well. I'm bending both knees. Release. Feel the ground. Close your eyes, take a deep breath in and out. Notice how you feel, what you feel where in your body. Very good, and roll off to your right hand side and push the floor away. Very well. For the next one is when you need a wall. And since you're gonna be facing the wall and doing something that it's going to prevent you from looking at the screen, I really ask you to please stay with what I'm showing you. Don't do it the first time, okay? The first time I'm going to walk to the wall. I'm going to show you what we're gonna be doing. And then I come away from the wall and we'll give you the same exact instructions for you to then go and do it. If you try to do it the first time, your chances are it's going to be a little confusing because you're going to be facing away from the camera trying to do things that may be entirely new to you. This is why I'm asking you to just watch the first round, okay? So we're going to learn how to lengthen the spine with the natural curves that I was referring to. One of the key things you need for that is working with the foundation, your feet, engaging your legs. You've been doing that, hugging the midline and moving the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. That's the key portion of it, okay? So this is a standing L shape at the wall. And you'll come, again, just watch first. You come close to the wall, stretch your arms out. So see, like, when I stretch my arms out, my fingertips touch the wall. I already know that measure for me, so that's why I come and I sort of like stop where I need to stop. But you maybe you do it and you're too further away or too close with the palms and the elbows. Then just make sure that you sort of like take your time to lengthen, like measure that right there. And then the next thing I want to do is feet inner hip distance apart, right there. And next thing I'm going to do is spread the toes, hug the legs in, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. See that? Fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Arch the lower back and stick the booty back and out. Now, keeping that action of the head of the femur bone going inside the hip socket and the curve in the low back, I'm going to step my feet a little further back and walk my hands down the wall like this, okay? Feet are hip distance apart. Knees, you see my knees are bent. Now that's really to allow for more movement in the upper part of the body. Fronts of the thighs moving to the backs of the thighs, you see? Stick the booty out. You see how my spine is getting longer. So in other words, I'm not rounded like that. My spine is long. Then I'm gonna align my ears with my arms and maybe lower my head slightly more. That's it. Totally long spine. With my fingers, I push the wall away. Continue to spread the toes, hug the legs in, and move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. See, knees bent is totally okay, especially to start. And what I really want is to create space and length. Like I'm pushing the wall away with my fingers and my hips are moving back away from the wall with long spine. You're not trying, don't round. It's about keeping the length. Yeah? Walk your hands up the wall and your feet forward towards the wall. Come on. Yeah? Okay. Ready? Let's go. Stand in front of your wall. Feet inner hip distance apart. Spread your toes, toes pointing straight forward. Fingertips to the wall. So you may have to walk a little further forward or back. Just make sure that as you stretch your arms forward, hands are outer shoulder distance apart. Your fingertips are on the wall. Okay? Right here, as you breathe, soften your knees. Spread your toes, hug your legs, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs, stick your booty back, and keeping that, begin to step back away from the wall and lower your hands down on the wall. And step back as much as you need to like really create that length. Press your fingertips into the wall and push away. As you continue to spread your toes, hug your legs in, fronts of the thighs move into the backs of your thighs, lengthen, and keep your ears in line with your arms. You can move your head from side to side and feel your arms with your ears. Maybe lower your hands a little more, lengthen your spine. Breathe. It's gonna be a really good stretch for the backs of your legs, for the glutes. Just one more breath, Ujjayi. And then Begin to walk forward with your feet and walk your hands up the wall, like a Spider-Man, I call this. And release. Shake, move. I wish you could ask me your questions now, but remember, you can email me with questions about this. You can even record a short video and show me, and I can give you adjustments according to what I see that you're doing. Okay, so we're gonna try it one more time, okay? Walk forward to the wall, spread your hands out or shoulder distance apart, fingertips to the wall, feet inner hip distance apart, toes pointing straight forward. Soften your knees, take a deep breath in. Settle as you exhale. And as you spread your toes and gently hug the midline with your legs, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs, and begin to step back away from the wall with your feet as you lower your hands down. Yeah, very good. So push the wall away with your fingertips. Continue to spread your toes and hug your legs in as you lengthen and move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, long spine, ears in line with the arms. You may lower your hands a little more. Very good. Push the wall away with your fingertips and move your hips back without rounding your back. Very good. Just one more breath right there. And then begin to walk forward towards the wall. Walk your hands up the wall. And release. Okay. So that's to teach you what we call an axial extension of the spine. To really be able to hinge at the hips. See, that's what you just did. You walked, move your thighs back to hinge at the hips. Sometimes when we do up and down movements, instead of hinging right here at the hips, we tend to hinge at the spine, which is not really healthy for the spine at all. So that you just learn how to like really use the power of your legs and the movement of the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs to hinge at the hips and move up and down. That's what you're learning right there. Okay, the next one that we're gonna do is a wide-legged standing forward bend, the stage one of the pose. The pose has two stages. We're only gonna learn stage one today. The name of the pose in Sanskrit is Prasarita Padottanasana, wide-legged standing forward fold, okay? So grab your two blocks, and over there. And come to face the long way side of your mat, okay? Align your heels with the back end of your mat. I'm gonna turn around and do it on the other side just briefly so you see exactly what I mean when I say line your heels with the back end of your mat. See, my heels are in line right there with the back line of the mat. Yeah, I'm not in here, I'm right there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn around to face you. Just want to show you that with the feet. Place the blocks down on the ground in front of you. Stretch your arms out by the sides of your body, okay? And you're gonna take a wide stance. You're gonna use your arms to measure that wide stance, okay? So spread your feet apart. And sometimes we just do this, and that's too close. So how do you know how wide you go? Well, you open your feet out to the sides. And again, we're gonna go with imaginary lines. If I were to draw an imaginary line from the wrist down, it should land at my ankle. So I go down this way, boom, it lands at my ankle. If I were to do that, you see, and my foot was not wide enough, it wouldn't land right there at the ankle. That's the principle. So take your moment there to measure that with your eye. You can sort of like draw a line there imaginarily and bring your hands to your hips. And this right there would feel like a lot of work because it is, especially when you're not used to it, okay? So look at your feet. And then again, remember the four corners of your feet. Again, spread your toes. Anchor the four corners of your feet down to the earth. Bring your hands to your hips, yeah? So then distribute the weight evenly among toes, heels, inner and outer edges of your feet. Press your feet down to the earth. Gently soften your knees. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, navel to the spine. Very good. When your knees slightly bend, move. Like, imagine that you have the block in between your legs and you're squeezing your inner thighs in. And move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs. Again, you're sticking your booty out. You're preparing to hinge at the hips. Hands on your hips. right? Shoulders back, elbows back. Imagine you're pulling your elbows towards one another. Hinge at the hips and lower your chest, yeah? Bring your hands to the blocks. And you want your hands to be outer shoulder distance apart like you did at the wall, not too close together. You want your hands to be, your wrists to be in a straight line to your shoulders, not back here, not over there, straight line down from your shoulders, okay? Deepen your breath. And then again, what you're avoiding here, look at my back, is rounding. This is not what you're doing, okay? What you're doing is hugging your legs in, moving the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs to get the head of the femur bones inside of the hip socket, create the natural curve in the low back and everywhere in the spine to lengthen the spine, like you did on that L shape at the wall. It's that lengthening feeling, okay? Breathe here. And bending your elbows, bring your hands to your hips, push through your feet to come back up to standing. So heel your feet back to center. Yeah, shake your legs. Interesting, huh? Prasarita Balutanasana, wide-legged, standing forward fold. Since the only way to learn is to practice and practice and practice, we're gonna do this one more time. So take a wide stance, stretch your arms out to the sides, measure your stance, align your heels with the back end of your mat, spread your toes. Once you know that your stance is as wide as you need it to be, bring your hands to your hips. Spread your toes and anchor the four corners of your feet evenly down into the earth. Very good. Soften your knees. Hug the imaginary block in between your legs and move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs. For some of us, and see, I'm bending my knees. For some of us, you will need to bend the knees even more because even with moving the fronts of the thighs and backs of the thighs, begin to hinge forward, you can do that. You may still have a rounded back. If that is the case, you have to bend your knees more and stick your booty out more. Keep your elbows pointing up to the sky. Lower your hands to the blocks. Very good. Feel your feet down on the earth and remember to keep the four corners evenly heavy, evenly rooted into the earth, four corners of your feet. Close your eyes maybe if you feel like it, but really tone the muscles at the back of your throat, and we're going to do this for 3 breaths. Fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Inhale. Exhale. Ujjayi Pranayama. Inhale. Exhale. Just one more. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees more. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your shoulders and elbows up to the sky. Lift your chest. Toe heel your feet back to center. Very well. Shake your legs. Okay. Now, place your blocks facing the front of your mat, the short edge of your mat. Okay. And the next pose we'll do, it's called Ardha Uttanasana, which is a standing forward bend with your feet closer together, like at inner hip distance apart. It is exactly like the previous pose we just tried, only that your legs are a little closer together. So that requires more flexibility in the backs of your legs. So this pose perhaps will be a little more challenging, okay? Then again, remember, it's like that L-shaped thing we did. You see how I'm lengthening my spine? You want your spine to be long, you never want to be rounded. Because that really just compresses the space in between your vertebrae and the spine. And that's really not what we're going for. We're going for really more freedom of movement, for feeling good in your body, for being able to enjoy this vessel that you have, which is your body, that allows you to experience life in this world. And you want to do that, and you really will be able to do that much more freely and with a lot more enjoyment, the better care you take of your body as you move. So that's the idea really with this type of yoga, that it's really focused on doing things consciously and with awareness in a way that's going to support the yoga practice throughout your life. Separate your feet inner hip distance apart as you come to face your blocks. Toes pointing straight forward. Root the four corners of your feet down into the earth. Distribute the weight evenly among the four corners of your feet. Soften your knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Shoulders back, elbows draw towards one another, navel into the spine. Take a deep breath in. Exhale fully. Feel the ground supporting you. Feel the ground, the soles of your feet. Very good. Okay, inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees. Bend your knees 20, 30 degrees or so. Inhale. Exhale, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Release the head of the femur bone inside the hip socket. Space in the low back. Begin hinging at the hips. Continue to hinge at the hips as you lower your chest down and bring your hands to the walls in front of you. Right there. So you see my spine is long. My legs are not really straight right now. Okay? That's what I'm showing you right here. We'll have a chance to experiment with how straight you can get your legs to be, but for now, keep your knees bent to some degree. For some of you, it will be more. It will be here because even if you're here, you're rounded. So really make sure that you're moving the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs and lengthening the spine. And if that doesn't do enough, you may bend your knees a little more. Okay? Breathe here. Ujjayi pranayama to the muscles in the back of your throat. Once more, one breath. Very good. Bend your knees slightly more. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your elbows and shoulders up, away from the floor. Pressing your feet into the earth. Lift your chest to come up to standing. And release your arms. And lift your feet up around and shake your legs. Very good. Ready? We're going to do that one more time. Stand in front of your block. Separate your feet inner hip distance apart. Spread your toes. Root the four corners of your feet down into the earth, hands to your hips. Soften your knees, take a deep breath in. Exhale, navel to the spine. Move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, shoulders back, elbows back, hinging at the hips. Lower your chest down, hands to the walls. 3 breaths. Ujjayi pranayama. Tone the muscles at the back of your throat. Inhale. And exhale. 1. Inhale. And exhale. 2. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Bend your knees a little more. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your shoulders and elbows up. Pressing down to your feet. Lift your chest. Come up to stand. That was Ardha Uttanasana. Standing forward fold with a long spine. Okay. Deepen your breath. We're gonna do sort of like the same pose, only that this time the chest is going in the belly. You're gonna come towards the legs. Okay, so that requires even more flexibility in the backs of the legs. So perhaps for this one, you may have to bend your knees, maybe a little more. Okay, and that is totally okay. So hands to the hips, separate your feet, inner hip distance apart. Very well. Soften the knees, spread your toes. Anchor the four corners of your feet evenly down into the earth. Take a deep breath in. Exhale fully, navel to the spine. Fronts of the thighs move into the backs of the thighs. Hinge at the hips to lower down, like you did before. Long spine, not rounding, long spine. Hands to the blocks. Very good. Keep your knees exactly where they are. Yeah, so at whatever degree they're bent, you keep them there. Okay, inhale here. As you exhale, you bend your elbows out to the sides and lower your belly and chest towards your legs, into your knees. Maybe you have to bend your knees more to do that, and that's totally okay. Ardha Uttanasana. Sorry, Uttanasana. Inhale here. And exhale here. 2 more breaths. Inhale here. And exhale here. Make sure your belly is resting on your legs. Inhale here. And exhale. Inhale to lift your head, lift your chest, straighten your arms. Ardha Uttanasana. Look forward. Hands to your hips. Press down into the floor with your feet. Lift your chest, come up to stand. Very good. We'll do that one more time. Keep your hands where you have them. Spread your toes. Gently hugging your legs in. Move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. Hinging at the hips. Fold into Ardha Uttanasana. Stage 1. Straight arms. Look forward. Long spine. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale. Bending your elbows out to the sides. Keep your knees as bent as you have them, or bend them more so that you can rest your belly, your chest maybe on top of your thighs. And 3 breaths right here. Inhale. Exhale. 1. Inhale. Exhale. 2. Inhale. Exhale. 3. Inhale to lift your head, lift your chest, straighten your arms, lengthen your spine. Look forward, bend your knees slightly more. Bring your hands to your hips. Point your elbows and shoulders up. Pressing down to your feet. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Release your arms down. Okay, that completes the standing poses that we're going to be doing today. Move your blocks out to the side. And come to a wall. If you don't have a free wall, like I know I have a free wall right here where I can pull my mat towards the wall and use the wall. If you don't have a wall, you can go to like the back of a chair or the back of the couch, wherever you can kind of like lay on the ground and bring your legs up into something, which is what we're gonna do. The next pose we're doing, it's called Viparita Karani, legs up the wall pose. It's a really good pose for kind of like not only getting grounded, because a good portion of your body is on the ground and that connection to the floor helps you get grounded and present and calm. It really helps with anxiety, depression. It helps if you're having sleeping issues. You can kind of like just sit on that pose 5, 10, 15 minutes. And because it's a very gentle pose, you can hold it for longer periods of time. So I'm going to show you how to do it. Again, this one is one that I would like you to see first instead of watch and do at the same time, because it may be the first time you're seeing it. I just want you to see it, and then I will come out of it and do it with you. Okay, I'll instruct it. So what I do usually is I sit on the side, so with the side of my body against the wall. I'm not necessarily touching the wall, but just like on the side, my side of the body to the wall. Okay. Then the next thing I do is I'm going to get my butt as close as I can to the wall. I really want to touch the wall with my butt, right? There. Hands are in front of me on the mat. I lower my arms down, my elbows, my forearms, and swing my legs up. Yeah. And that's the pose. So you spread your toes and move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs. And arms rest by the sides of your body, palms facing up. And you will just sit here for a few breaths. And very soothing. It's really great. And this will be our Shavasana of the day instead of doing that last pose that we did the previous session. The course pose, this is going to be the last pose. Okay, to come out, you can just slide your heels down, roll off to the side, and come out. Okay, ready? All right, we'll try this together. Now, move your mat or whatever you're using to the wall or the back of a chair or anything where you can lift your legs up into. And if you're by the wall, then it's easier to just kind of sit the side of your body to the wall. Hands come in front of you into the mat. Bring your butt closer to the wall. Take a deep breath in. Exhale to lower yourself down, elbows down, or one elbow down, and swing your legs up. The reason of doing it this way is so that your butt is as close to the wall as it can be. Yeah. And right there, for a moment, bend your elbows. Press your elbows down, press your shoulders down, move the fronts of the thighs into the backs of your thighs. You should feel your butt coming even closer into the wall when you do that. And then release your arms down by the sides of your body, palms facing up. Breathe here. We're going to be here for a couple of minutes. And remember that you can come back to this pose whenever you want, at the end of your day, perhaps, to transition between whatever you're doing before you go to bed, to wind down. And you can hold it for longer than a couple of minutes, as long as it feels comfortable to your legs and your body. You can be there 5, 10, 15 minutes. It's really great for circulation. This pose is awesome because it makes your heart work slightly harder in a very gentle way to pump the blood all the way up to your feet. This pose is recommended for people that even have heart surgery. So it's really gentle, but it's very powerful. It strengthens your heart. It's really good for circulation, people with like circulation issues. When you're tired, you've been on your feet too much, walking or hiking or just standing because maybe you work like on your feet, it's a really great pose to do. It's very healthy for your circulation. Notice your breath. You don't necessarily have to do Ujjayi pranayama here, though if you want to do it, you can. But you can just at least remain aware of your breath, the weight of your body resting on the ground. Anytime you catch yourself drifting away from this moment, from being on your mat, in your body, remember that what helps you return and ground your attention and awareness into this moment is the connection, the conscious connection to your breath. Begin to deepen your breath through your nose. Do it a few more times. You can stay here longer if you want, or if you need to, finish and stop right now. Begin to bend your knees and slide your heels down towards your body. And roll off to your side. Using your arm as a pillow for your head, rest in a fetal position inside of your body for a moment. Use your hands to push the floor away. Come back up. Again, grab a block, whatever prop you're using as a block, and towel or blanket. Sit at the front edge of that. Ask to tilt your pelvis. Cross your legs. Hands to your thighs. Close your eyes. Tone the muscles of the back of your throat. Ujjayi pranayama again. As you breathe here, take note of how you feel, what you feel. Whether it's something physical, something that's going on in your mind, in your emotions, anything. And please join your hands together in front of your heart in prayer position Anjali Mudra. May this practice help you stay grounded and rooted in your awareness of yourself, your body. Grounded and rooted in the inner calmness and stillness that you can tap into with your breath, with the help of your breath. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you feel really good. Again, as usual, please feel free to email me any questions that you may have. And I see you in the next session. Namaste.